you are all welcome. We expect to have a new cohort of sisters from Africa. We have been working now for almost 13 years, and we are familiar with many organizations in Africa, in Latin America, in Asia and the Pacific, and in the Arctic and northern countries as well. So every time we launch a call, we have this hope to connecting with new organizations and to strengthening existing relationship. So if this is the first time for you in a webinar with us, please register. Please subscribe to FIMI social network so you can be updated. You can receive constant messages. You can receive our newsletter. So this afternoon, we intend to share more about what FIMI is, as Adija mentioned already, but most of all, we want to clarify your doubt and encourage you to apply and to apply early. The earlier you apply, the better for us, the better for all of us, because this stage of the call that is ending until February 28th is the first step. For those of you that get selected, we will follow up with more work, but in order to do that, we need to complete this first step. So we hope you remain with us and that your doubts are clarified. And if not, please use the email we will provide so we can follow up, and hope that this interest of you, this participation, open doors for a new relationship for those of you coming for the first time, and strengthening our existing partnership for those of you that are already in partnership with us. So thank you very much. Thank you, Adija.
Thank you, Margarita. Thank you for giving us an insight into this call. And I also want to welcome those who are just joining. We have French and English interpretation. So right now, I will re-highlight the agenda again for those who are joining. We will have a presentation of 20 minutes about the FIMI, its programs, and then AYNI phone and the call. And then we will have an audio that we will play regarding the call, which will be done in 5 minutes. And then we will do closing remarks and then closing. So right now, I will call on Lila. She's part of the AYNI phone team to please do a presentation about the call for us. Lila, you have the floor.
Thank you, Adija. Hi, everybody. Hi, sisters. Hi, brothers. It's a pleasure for me to be here. My name is Lila. I'm part of the AYNI Found team. I will be doing the presentation today. I'm going to ask Javier, the communication team, to share the presentation so we can start. Great. Perfect. So we already have the webinar for Asia and the Pacific and for Latin America. So for people who are asking for the Spanish translation, unfortunately, we are not having Spanish today. It was yesterday, but we definitely can share with you the webinar. So if you want to write to the AYNI address, we can share with you the presentation in Spanish. So thanks again. This is the we are going to have the basic information for the AYNI Found Call 2023 that we are launching this year. So please, the next one. Can we go to the next? Great. Some technical information before. Please, if you have the chance, rename yourself, put your name, your organization, and also your country. Keep your video on if it's possible, so everybody can see each other. We can know you better. We can see your face. Please keep yourself mute when you're not speaking. You know that if you are logging out, you can join the meeting again with the same link. If you have questions, we are going to have a particular space at the end of the meeting. So you can either raise your hand and write your question down for so we can have the opportunity to answer that at the end of the meeting. And the idea is to write under the chat box all the questions and comments you might have, so we can answer that at the end of the meeting. As Arija mentioned, we are just having interpretation in French. And the meeting will be recording and will be we are going to have the live Facebook today. So if you have any reservation or concern about that, just let us know. So the next one, please. Just I assume that you already have information about FIMI for new partners. As you know, FIMI is a global mechanism, has a theory of change, and the main mission of FIMI is to have a world where Indigenous women are empowered and realize their individual and collective human rights and well-being. The next one, please. FIMI was established within the framework of the 4th United Nations Conference on Women in 1995 in Beijing. As I mentioned, FIMI is a global mechanism that brings together the collective leadership of Indigenous women, human rights leaders, and activists around the world. We are working in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean, the Pacific, and the Arctic, in order to develop a common political agenda and to build capacities and develop leadership of Indigenous women around the world. FIMI has two main aims. One is to build and strengthen unity and develops leadership capacities. The other one is to promote the individual and collective rights of Indigenous women in Africa, Latin America, and the Pacific, and Latin America and the Caribbean, Arctic, Asia, and the Pacific. FIMI develops has different programs. One is the political participation and advocacy. The second one is the Global Leadership School that this year has launched the school yesterday. So we are just about starting this new program for this year. We have also the research program, and also we are having the Indigenous Women Fund, AYNI, which we are now having here part of the team, and this is also part of the different programs that we are having in FIMI. Some information related to the AYNI Fund has to be the next one, please. The the aims of the FEMI Indigenous Women Found AYNI is to develop different grant mechanisms. We have different mechanisms. One is the seed and the scaling up project for small organizations around the world. The second one is the Leading from the South program, which is a program founded by the Dutch government. And also we have a third mechanism that is IPAF, which is the Indigenous People Assistance Facility. The first two mechanisms, the seed and the scaling up projects, and also the Leading from the South program, are part of the resources that we are investing in this 2023 call. FEMI developed different kind of mechanism in order to reach out to Indigenous women's organizations. One is an open call, which is the call that we are launching this year, the one that we are about to share the information with you. We are also having a direct call, and also we are having the regranting way of investing and supporting Indigenous women organizations. After having this small background about FEMI and the AYNI Fund, I will like to share with you some information related to the call. So the next one, please. First thing that you might want to know is that all the information that I'm going to share with you today is already in our website. We have two different main documents that it's very important for you to read. One is the guide, the guide for proposals and applications. So every detail, everything that I'm going to share with you, you will find the information in the guide for proposals and applications. So please, I encourage you to read the guide carefully before the application. And we are also having a second document, very important for you to read, which is a frequently asked question guide, where we, we include the main questions that we usually find that are information useful for you to know. So please, firstly, go to the guide, and secondly, take a deep try to get the chance to read also deeply the frequently asked questions. So after saying that, there's some particular information that you might want to know about the who are the Indigenous organizations, who are the organizations that can apply to this call. It's important for you to know that only Indigenous women's organizations or networks or Indigenous people of organizations can apply to this call. For mixed organizations, for Indigenous peoples organizations that are mixed, we need to make sure that 50%, half of the people in the decision-making spaces or in executive level belongs to women, right? So who can apply again? Indigenous women's organizations or network or Indigenous peoples organizations led by Indigenous women, which means that 50% of the decision-making spaces belong to Indigenous women. Also, organization has to be registered according to the traditional or current regulations in your countries. They have to be registered. They have to be registered according to the legislations of your countries, and also you need to have a bank account. In case you are not registered, in case you are not having a bank account, you can count on a fiscal sponsor. The fiscal sponsor has to be a well-known organization with, of course, that is already registered and has the bank account needed. So apart from that, of course, you have to submit your application. There's just one application per organizations, right? You cannot submit more than one application. So it's just one application per organization. Those who cannot apply are applications submitted by organizations that are not led or are not indigenous in nature. They are not led by indigenous women. They are not indigenous women's organization, or maybe they're political parties or religious groups, or maybe individuals. They cannot apply. Right? So just indigenous women's organizations or networks or indigenous people organizations led by indigenous women are just the one who can apply. Also, it's important for you to know that as I will be explaining in a few minutes, we have an online application. The application has to be fully complete, right? We are not going to accept, we cannot accept applications that are not complete. Also, we are asking for certain kind of documentation in this first phase of the application. We are asking for a recommendation letter. So the fully application plus the documentation requested has to be submitted as well. So if you are not submit the application in complete, this will be well, this of course will make you non-eligible. So please, the next one. As an indigenous woman found, we are supporting, we are having different kind of topics that you can choose in order to write your proposal. We have priorities, area, topics, or themes. The idea for you to develop your proposal is to choose one main topic. You can also include sub-priorities area or subtopics in your proposal. So the idea is to pick one topic and to write your proposal under one general umbrella within these themes or topics. One is the economic empowerment of indigenous women. Land, territory, and resources is also a topic that you can choose. Climate change and disaster risk reduction, political participation and advocacy, access to public services, prevention and elimination on all forms of violence for Indigenous women, Indigenous knowledge, art, culture, and sport, organizational strengthening. And we are also including an open and flexible topic for emerging issues in case you want to work on some particular issue that is not under these priorities areas. So again, the idea is to develop your, as you will see in the application, you will have to develop your proposal under one topic, but you can also include some other subtopics as part of your proposal. The next one, please. As I already mentioned, and I want to emphasize this, we have two main documents that we already developed in order for you to follow. So we encourage you to read that carefully before you apply. One is the implementation guide that I already mentioned in our website. So go firstly to the guide for proposals and applications, where you will find all the information that I'm mentioning today. And we also have this frequently asked question guide. So maybe if you read the implementation guide and you have questions or comment or something that you find unclear, you can go to the frequently asked questions. In case your question is not there, you can of course write to ask to the AYNI address, and we will try to answer as soon as possible. In this case, it's important for you to know that we have an online application. So you need to submit your application online. Again, the way of submitting the application, the information about the link is already in our website and already in the implementation guide. So how to submit? You will need to complete the online application. You will need to include all the information requested. The application, again, has to be fully complete. And you also need to submit a reference letter. All the sisters that are interested in this call and submit their proposals has to ask for a reference letter. The reference letter is the way we have for us to know you better, to know your background, to know more about you. So a reference letter has to be requested for another Indigenous organization or Indigenous network in your region that can provide information about you and your background and Indigenous organization. Next one, please. So again, the submission process has particularly two different parts. One up. The second one is the reference letter that you will need to attach to the submission process. Here we already include the link for our platform. you can also see that link. You will find that link in, as I mentioned, in our guides. If you have questions, we are having this AYNI 2023 email. We are trying to respond, to answer all the questions and comments as soon as possible. So if you still have questions regarding your proposal, regarding whatever you find that is unclear, please write us, and we will try to answer you as soon as possible. Next one, please. It's important for you to know that the call already launched has a deadline. The call was launched by January, the last week of January this year. We opened we launch and we open the application. We will having a deadline, which will be February 28th at midnight Lima, Peru time. So make sure that you know, or you can be familiar with the Peruvian time. So February 28th will be the last day for submission. As Margarita mentioned, it's important for you to know that the sooner you get your proposal done, you can submit your proposal, the better for you and for us. So try not to get to the deadline, try to submit your proposal as soon as possible. Between the February 28th until the 1st of May, we will be doing the selection process. We are having an advisory committee. We are going to select the eligibility proposals. For those who are selected, we will be asking for some more information, some complementary information to submit. So the final selection will be the first week of May. After once your proposal is selected, well, we will let you know the following step which are basically part of the agreement we develop between the organization and with FIMI. The next one, please. Some information regarding the grant size and the period. We have 3 different categories for proposals. One is related to the small organizations or small proposals that are including community or grassroots scopes. The length of the proposal or the maximum length in month is 18, and they can request for a maximum $25,000. The second category is the medium grant size that are related to national or sub-regional scopes, organizations that works in proposals that reach national or sub-regional scopes. They can apply for a maximum of 24th month, and they can apply for a maximum of budget, which is $85,000. The last grant size is the large one that are related to regional or sub-regional scopes. 24th month is the maximum of length or durations in month that they can develop their proposals, and they can request a budget up to $200,000. So again, we are having 3 types of grants: small, mediums, and large. Each one has a maximum period that you can apply, a timeline of maximum month that you can apply, and also a maximum of budget that you also can apply. So take this in mind when you develop your proposal according to the scope of your proposal. The next one, please. Which are the countries who can apply? Okay, basically, this is a global call. We have a global coverage. Just for medium and large organization, they have, as you will see in the guide, you will need to be in the global south. In case you have any question related to that, in case you're going to apply for a medium or large grant, you can ask us in case you have any doubt, but it's basically global. So any country from Africa can apply to this call. The next one, please. Some details regarding this call. As I mentioned, we have this AYNI 2023 at iiwf.org, which is our main source for you to ask questions, to write with us, to keep in touch with us. So we have that open, that email open until, I suppose, the 20th of February, maybe a little bit longer, in order for you to write questions or comments. Again, the organizations eligible who can apply are Indigenous women's organizations or Indigenous people organizations with 50% at least of Indigenous women in decision-making spaces and executive level that are part of the executive level. We developed these 2 documents, and as I mentioned, they are in our website, the implementation guide and the frequently asked questions. So please read both documents carefully before developing and writing your proposal. We have an online application where you also have to submit a particular document. In this case, the document will be the reference letter. Try to ask for a reference letter in advance. Don't wait until the last moment to ask for that reference letter. For those organizations that are pretty isolated or they don't have good internet access, you can write to us to submit your application by email, but we encourage you to apply online. That case is for small organizations or those who don't have a good internet access. The deadline is February 28th, but the sooner you can apply, the better for you and for us. Next one, please. Thank you very much. We already mentioned this, but it's good for you to know and to write these links down regarding the AYNI phone call 2023. More information about the call you will find under this link, a tutorial. Well, this is also the link for this webinar, and concerns and queries are also will be also replying under this email address. So if you were not able to follow all the information that I underlined in this webinar, don't worry. All the information here that I already mentioned are part of these two documents that you will find in our website. I think that I'm done so far. Adija, if you agree, we can move forward to the video, and we will be opening the question and answer part in the last part of the meeting.
Yeah, so right now we will thank you, Lila, so much for the brilliant presentation and giving us details about the call. So right now we will proceed with the recording. So our communication team will play the recording, and then after the recording, we will move to questions and answer, and maybe any other discussion related only to the call. So can we have the video? Thank you so much for the video. And I think now we are on the last part of this webinar, which is discussions related to the call, as well as questions and answers related to the call. So I will open the floor for this discussion, and I will also call on my AYNI Fund colleagues who are here. We have been receiving a lot of emails from partners asking questions, and we really saw some questions were reoccurring, especially related to recommendation letter. And also we had questions related to our criteria as indigenous people. So I will call on my colleagues who want to add more light to these questions that are reoccurring during in our emails. Maybe they can enlighten us about what recommendation letters are required for this specific call. I think anyone can volunteer. Maybe I can call Sushila or Margarita to please enlighten our participants on the question of recommendation letter.
Hello, everyone. Very nice. Oh, Margarita, please go ahead.
No, please go, Sushila, go.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, very glad to have you all on board. Maybe I will respond to Adhija's mentioning about the reference letter. Especially, there are three components of a reference components in a reference letter that has to be explicitly referred. First one is the reference letter should come from the organization which is well-established indigenous women's or indigenous people's organization. That is one. Second one is the reference letter should mention explicitly that your organization is indigenous women's organization or indigenous women-led organization. That has to be very, very, very clearly spelled out in that reference letter. Third one is the contact details of the reference, the organization who is providing the reference letter should be there. If so, like emails of the person contact, like the person who is providing the letter on behalf of organization, contact details should be there. So these are three key criteria for the reference letter. So this is how we will see the standard of the standard requirement of the reference letter. I hope this is clear. Thank you, Adhija.
Okay. Margarita wanted to add something to that.
I think Sushila's comment is very clear, and maybe coming back to the size of the grants we allocate. While we work with small, medium, and large, we just want to highlight that for the large, yes, this is the largest amount, no? Large one, we usually grant these, we have been doing this for regional networks for large organizations that are working in more than one country. So if this is the first time you're coming to the AYNI Fund, please consider that probably a large fund will not be available as the resources are very limited. However, we managed to get back to most of our sisters connecting with FIMI. And I just want to reinforce what I said at the beginning. While the AYNI Fund is focused on accompanying proposals from Indigenous women organizations, and co-investing with you, co-investing in the sense that there are resources that are channeled through AYNI Fund, and projects, proposals, initiatives are possible only because you also bring your knowledge, bring your cultural, your spirituality, your tangible and intangible heritage to each project. So this approach of co-investment that is very relevant, as we don't look at Indigenous women as beneficiaries, because we are not donor. We are also an Indigenous women mechanism that work with Indigenous women, and we can do this because we are accountable for the resource we get from donors. And because we also need to be in this partnership with you, we need you to be accountable with us. And that is the effort of working together, partnering together, building strength together. So please take this in mind. And when you look at your proposal, review carefully what it is you're bringing, so you can have this full knowledge of everything that you already have in your hand, in your organization, in your community, that make this proposal feasible, viable. And there is where we co-invest and we agree and put in joining effort, working together and moving forward. Thank you, Adija.
Thank you, Margarita, for that. Another highlights of questions we got from partners were regarding geographical coverage. In Africa, we do cover the continent of Africa as well as the MENA region. The MENA region is the North Africa and the Middle East, so we cover those areas too. So this was just to clarify a lot of questions from the geographical coverage. And I think we are open for questions. If anyone have a question, we are also live on Facebook. We will be getting questions from Facebook. If there is any questions, we are watching, we are looking at our chats, or any hand up, we can call you and you ask your question. And I'm also calling on the other colleagues, Amina, Taba, Faith, if you have any contributions, please. Rosemary.
Hello?
Yes, Rosemary, please.
I think I didn't get you clearly, Adija.
Yeah, I was asking if you have any contribution to this webinar that you would like to share. You are more than welcome to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for this webinar. It's really, at least what we have understood there is, I mean, I've understood a lot, and I think I just wanted to say that it's important that we get to know that we have many indigenous communities that are in our countries. And so therefore, maybe what I would like to say is it's important that they try to identify themselves with the fund. I don't know whether I'm clear.
Yes, you're clear. So is that what you wanted to contribute? Okay.
Maybe let me come later.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
And the floor is still open. I can see Aishatu Ali, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really very sorry for joining late because I had connectivity problem. And I think it's not only my problem, maybe that is what most indigenous communities are facing. I just want to appeal that if the meeting is being recorded, the minutes should be shared, because honestly, I did not get the first part of the question and now of the presentation. So I'm even unable to ask a question because I did not follow up the presentation. I was trying to connect, but the connection was very bad. So it will be grateful if the presentation can be shared, please.
Okay, Aishatu, thank you so much for that observation. Yeah, we are live on Facebook, so you will find the recording on Facebook, as well as we will share with those who will request sharing by email. So we will be more than happy to share with you the recordings. So you will just send us an email, or you can just go to FIMI Facebook page and then you can watch it there. So I guess we have come to an end of this information.
You have a hand, Adija, from Ali.
Yeah, she just, yeah, I think she can
Okay.
just lower her hand. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess if we don't have any other contribution, we've come to the end of this information webinar. I think I will call on one of our colleagues to please do us a short closing remarks. I will call on Sushila, please, to do a short closing remarks for us.
Oh, thank you, Adija. I was not very prepared, but having said that, I will just go with what I have in my mind. Thank you, Leela, for providing all your energy to explain things which is very, very important to be considered in this call. And thank you, Adija, for overall moderation with a facilitating in a very interactive way, the possible interactive way. And also thanks, Margarita, to link the overall history of FIMI's AYNI fund with the existing call and FIMI itself. And also thank you all of you who are here in this call, but of course we trust you on sharing this call widely among your networks, among other indigenous women's organization or indigenous women-led organization in your region, in your country, so that we will have more and more sisters reaching us out. Maybe, as Margarita mentioned, our resource is very, very limited, but this is the one window of opportunity to collaborate. There are many other programs where we can collaborate together, and also different events where we can get in touch and connect ourselves, because we are all in same movement. So with this, I thank our communication team who are here constantly supporting us whole 2023 from very beginning, regardless of the time differences and so on. Thank you, our communication team, particularly Javier and Otis. We have new colleague here, Stella, and also Africa AYNI team, Adija and Barbara, who are leading Africa with their great leadership, and they will continue to do so, and all the AYNI colleagues who are here. With this, I think this is all we have to say. Please do connect with us in our social media, our web page. Please follow us in Instagram so that we can share you update whatsoever is coming in. So we hope you have all the information and the data or the doubts you had has been clarified. But if not, we have shared the link, needful link in the chat box. Please follow that, or you can reach us out in email, which is AYNI2023@iiwf.org. So this is the official email to reach us out. If you have any doubt, it is not only the opportunity, you can directly write to that email, and we will respond you back as soon as possible. So with this, I thank you all once again for your active participation, and in the future, sharing this call widely in your region, in your network, and so on. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sushila. Thank you so much, everyone. And we are looking forward to your applications and more relationships in the future. So we have come to the end of the webinar, and thank you all for being here with us. I think it's a good evening to Africa. Bye-bye.